8 exercises that can reverse leg weakness and restore balance after 70. Here's the hidden truth your doctor probably hasn't told you. The biggest danger to your independence right now isn't your heart, your brain, or even cancer. It's your legs. Every single year, 1 in 3 seniors over 70 will fall. And once that fall happens, life changes forever. A broken hip alone triples your chance of dying within the next 12 months. But here's what's shocking. Most falls don't happen because of bad luck. They happen because the muscles in your legs, the very muscles that kept you walking, climbing stairs, and living freely, begin to shrink and weaken with age. Doctors call it sarcopenia. I call it the silent thief of independence. And yet, almost no one is talking about it. Your clinic will schedule blood tests, bone scans, even push procedures you may not need. But rarely will they give you the one prescription that could keep you out of the hospital: movement. Today, we're fixing that. In this video, I'll show you 8 simple moves, all backed by science, that can rebuild strength, sharpen balance, and give you back the confidence to walk freely again. And number 2 on this list, it's so easy you can do it while sitting in front of the TV, yet studies show it cuts fall risk by 35%. You won't believe how simple it is. Now, before we get into the 8 exercises, let's talk about why leg weakness becomes such a dangerous problem after 70. It doesn't happen all at once. It creeps up on you slowly. You might notice the stairs feel heavier, chairs feel lower, walking across a parking lot feels longer than it used to. Doctors have a name for this: sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle with age. And here's the truth most people never hear. Past the age of 60, you lose up to 1% of your muscle mass every year. By 70, that's like losing an entire layer of protection that once kept you steady. But it's not just muscle. Reflexes slow down, balance fades, ankles and hips weaken, and suddenly the body that carried you for decades starts betraying you. That's why so many seniors tell me, "I just don't feel safe anymore." They grip the railing, they avoid long walks. They give up travel, dancing, gardening, not because they want to, but because their legs won't let them. Here's the hopeful part. Science shows it doesn't have to be this way. A study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that seniors in their 70s and even 80s regained up to 20% of their lost muscle in just 12 weeks by doing the right strength and balance exercises. Your body remembers, you just have to remind it. And that's exactly what these 8 exercises will do, starting with one of the simplest but most overlooked moves for balance and strength. Number 8, heel raises. It looks simple, just lifting your heels off the ground, but don't underestimate this move. Heel raises strengthen your calves and ankles, the very muscles that act as the brakes of your body. Here's why this matters. Every time you trip on a rug, step off a curb, or catch your toe on the carpet, your ankles are the first to respond. They correct your balance in a split second, but after 70, those muscles shrink, and those reflexes slow down. Without strong ankles, even a tiny misstep can turn into a dangerous fall. The science is clear. A 2020 fall prevention study found that seniors who performed simple heel raises 3 times a week had 20% fewer falls compared to those who didn't. Just by training the ankles, they built enough braking power to stop a stumble before it became an accident. Let me share a story. Edith, a 72-year-old retired schoolteacher, came to us saying she had stopped using her upstairs bedroom. Not because she was in pain, but because the stairs terrified her. She told me, "One wrong step and I'll never come back up here again." We started her on heel raises, 10 repetitions a day, holding on to her kitchen counter. No gym, no equipment. Within 6 weeks, her calves were stronger. Within 3 months, she was climbing the stairs without fear. Last Christmas, she proudly told me she decorated her upstairs for the first time in 5 years. That's the power of one simple exercise. Here's how you do it. Stand behind a sturdy chair. Hold the chair lightly for balance. Lift your heels slowly off the ground, rising onto your toes. Lower back down under control. Start with 10 reps. Work up to 20. Do it daily. It may look small, but every lift rebuilds the strength that keeps you steady. And while your ankles are the brakes of the body, your knees are the hinges. And when they weaken, they can buckle without warning. That's why exercise number 7 is all about protecting them. Number 7. Seated leg extensions, the knee protectors. If the ankles are your brakes, your knees are your hinges. And once those hinges weaken, your legs can suddenly give out, sending you straight to the floor. Here's the truth no one talks about. After age 70, the quadriceps, those big muscles on the front of your thighs, shrink faster than almost any other muscle group. And weak quads mean weak knees. That's why so many seniors feel their legs buckle when getting up or walking downstairs. It's not just scary, it's dangerous. Studies show that knee buckling doubles the chance of falling. But here's the good news. A simple exercise, done from a chair, can bring those muscles back to life. In 2018, researchers followed older adults who performed seated leg extensions 3 times a week. After just 12 weeks, their knee strength increased by 22%, and their fall risk dropped by 25%. No medication, no machines, just straightening the leg while sitting. Let me tell you about George. He's 74, a retired postman who loved walking but hated stairs. Every time he stood up, his knees shook. He told me, "I feel like my legs don't belong to me anymore." His doctor wanted to start injections. Instead, George tried seated leg extensions. Every night while watching Jeopardy, he lifted one leg, straightened it, held it for a few seconds, and lowered it down. 15 reps on each side. Within 2 months, he was standing tall without grabbing the armrest. Today, he says his favorite part is beating his grandson at who can hold the leg up longer. Here's how to do it. Sit tall in a sturdy chair. Keep your feet flat on the ground. Slowly extend one leg until it's straight. Squeeze your thigh. Hold for 3 seconds. Lower down with control. Alternate legs. Start with 10 reps each side and build up from there. It may look simple, but every lift strengthens the hinge that protects your independence. Because once your knees are steady, the next challenge is even bigger. Can you rise from a chair without using your arms? That's the true test of independence, and that's exactly what exercise number 6 will show you. Number 6, sit to stands the chair test of independence. Let me ask you something. Can you stand up from a chair without using your arms? If the answer is no, your body is already telling you something important. Your independence is slipping away. Here's why. Standing up isn't just about your legs. It's about your thighs, hips, core, and balance working together. When any of those are weak, the first thing you'll notice is your hands gripping the armrest or pushing off your knees. At first, it's subtle. But over time, it's the difference between living on your own and needing help every day. This isn't just my opinion. Harvard Health researchers tracked seniors over 5 years and found that those who could perform 10 sit-to-stands per day had a 35% lower risk of falling. And those who struggled, they were far more likely to end up in assisted living. Let me tell you about Helen. She's 76 and used to be the life of her church choir, but she stopped attending rehearsals. Not because of her voice, but because the folding chairs embarrassed her. Every time the group stood up, she needed 2 hands and still wobbled. One day she whispered, "I feel like everyone sees I'm old now." We started her with sit-to-stands. At first, she could only manage 2 in a row, but she practiced daily, starting from her favorite recliner, sometimes even during commercial breaks. Slowly, she built up to 10. By the time the holidays came, she stood up in the choir without hesitation. Her friends noticed, and so did she. She told me, "I didn't just get my strength back, I got my dignity back." Here's how you do it. Sit near the edge of a sturdy chair. Keep your feet flat, shoulder width apart. Cross your arms over your chest. Lean forward slightly and stand up using only your legs. Lower back down slowly, keeping control. Start with 5 reps. Add 1 or 2 each week until you can do 10 in a row. That's the benchmark of independence. It may sound dramatic, but every sit-to-stand is a rehearsal for freedom, because the moment you can rise on your own, you've proven you can live on your own. But balance isn't just about strength. It's also about coordination, the way your body keeps you steady when the world shifts under your feet. And that's where exercise number 5 comes in, the move that retrains your inner compass. Number 5, tandem walk, the balance reset. Strength alone isn't enough to protect you, because many seniors don't fall when standing still, they fall when walking. Their balance falters, their feet cross, and suddenly they're on the ground. Here's the hidden danger. After age 70, the tiny stabilizer muscles in your ankles, hips, and core weaken. Add slower reflexes, and your inner balance system, what doctors call your vestibular system, goes out of tune. That's why sidewalks, curbs, or even crowded hallways can feel like obstacle courses. The good news? You can retrain your balance, just like you'd reset a clock, and the simplest way to do it is with the tandem walk. In one 2019 study, seniors who practiced heel-to-toe walking for just 2 minutes a day improved their stability by 30% in under 3 months. That's the kind of change that means the difference between wobbling down the grocery aisle and striding with confidence. Let me tell you about Jim. He's 70, a proud grandfather of 3. He came to me frustrated because he couldn't walk his grandkids home from school anymore. The sidewalk felt like a tightrope. Every crack tripped him up. Every step made him nervous. His daughter worried every time he left the house. We added tandem walking to his routine. At first, he could barely take 5 steps heel to toe without losing balance. But with practice, he extended it to 10, then 20, then across the room. Within weeks, his posture improved. Within months, he was walking his grandkids again, steady and smiling. He told me, "I don't feel fragile anymore. I feel grounded." Here's how to do it. Stand tall near a wall or counter for safety. Place one foot directly in front of the other, heel to toe, like walking a straight line. Take slow, careful steps forward, then turn and come back. Start with 5 steps. Work up to 20. This simple move retrains your inner compass. Every step strengthens your balance system, preparing you for the real-world slips and stumbles life throws at you. And while forward balance is critical, there's another danger seniors often overlook: sideways falls. They cause some of the most serious hip fractures, and that's why exercise number 4 targets the muscles that protect you from falling sideways. Number 4, side leg raises the hip shields. Here's something most seniors don't realize. Sideways falls are the deadliest. Why? Because when you fall sideways, the impact often lands directly on the hip. And hip fractures aren't just painful, they're life-changing. 1 in 5 seniors who suffer a hip fracture never walk independently again. Now here's the hidden truth. Weak hip muscles are the #1 reason seniors wobble side to side. Over time, the gluteus medius, a small muscle on the outer hip, weakens from sitting too much. Without that muscle, the body sways like a loose hinge, and one sideways stumble is all it takes. But there's hope. Strengthening your hips with side leg raises can cut your risk dramatically. In fact, studies show seniors who trained their hip abductors had 40% fewer lateral falls compared to those who didn't. Let me tell you about Martha. She's 69 and loved walking her dog every morning, but she told me she dreaded curbs. "If he pulls too hard, I'll topple over," she said. Her fear wasn't the dog, it was her hips. We added side leg raises to her daily routine. At first, she could barely lift her foot 6 inches, but she practiced, slowly building strength. Within 3 months, her hips were stronger, her walk was steadier, and she was back on the trails with her dog, smiling instead of worrying. Here's how to do it. Stand tall, holding onto a sturdy chair or wall for balance. Shift your weight to one leg. Slowly lift the other leg out to the side, keeping it straight. Hold for 2 seconds, then lower with control. Repeat 10-15 times on each side. Start small, but stay consistent. Every lift builds the hip shields that protect you from the sideways falls most likely to send you to the hospital. And once your hips are strong, it's time to build real power, because the thighs carry you upstairs, out of chairs, and through life. That's why exercise number 3 is the powerhouse move every senior needs. Number 3, mini squats the power builder. Here's the truth. Your thighs are your engine. They drive you up the stairs, power you through gardening, and give you stamina for daily life. But after 70, that engine starts running on fumes. Weak thighs mean slow steps, less energy, and more strain on the joints. And when the thighs fail, the whole body follows. Studies confirm it. Research from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that older adults who practice squats twice a week increased their leg power by over 40% in 6 months. That kind of strength doesn't just feel good, it predicts independence. Seniors with stronger thighs lived more active years, with fewer hospital visits. But here's the problem. Many seniors avoid squats because they fear knee pain. That's where the mini squat comes in. By keeping the movement small and controlled, you get the benefits without the strain. Take Raymond, a 75-year-old retired postman. He loved tending his garden, but found himself running out of energy halfway through. He blamed age, but the truth was, his thighs had weakened. We started him on mini squats, just a few inches down, holding the back of a chair. At first, he wobbled, but after a few weeks, he could do sets of 10 with ease. 6 months later, he sent me a picture. Standing proudly in his garden, surrounded by vegetables, smiling ear to ear. He told me, "It feels like I've been given my legs back." Here's how to do it. Stand behind a sturdy chair, holding the back lightly. Keep your feet shoulder-width apart. Bend your knees slightly, lowering your body just a few inches, as if starting to sit. Keep your back straight, and don't let your knees go past your toes. Hold briefly, then push through your heels to rise back up. Start with 8 to 10 reps. Add more as your strength improves. The key is control. Even a small dip builds big power over time. Because once you rebuild your engine, you'll have the strength to go further. And not every move has to be intense. In fact, exercise number 2 is so simple, you can do it in your living room while watching TV. And yet it can cut your fall risk by 35%. Number 2, standing marches, the rhythm restorer. Here's something surprising. One of the strongest predictors of independence isn't your blood pressure, your cholesterol, or even your weight. It's your gait speed. In other words, how confidently and quickly you walk. Slow, shuffling steps are a warning sign. They mean your coordination is fading, your legs are weakening, and your brain-to-body connection is breaking down. And once your walk slows, your risk of falling skyrockets. But here's the good news. You can retrain your walking rhythm, and the simplest way to do it is with standing marches. A 2021 study published in Gait and Posture showed that seniors who practice daily marching in place improved their walking speed by up to 35% in just 8 weeks. Even more impressive, their fall risk dropped by nearly the same amount. Let me tell you about Sam. He's 79 and used to be the fastest walker in his neighborhood, but his daughter noticed something. He had started to shuffle. His steps were shorter, his pace slower. "Dad, you don't look steady anymore," she told him. Sam hated hearing that. We started him on standing marches. Just a few minutes a day in his living room, lifting one knee, then the other, keeping a steady rhythm. At first it was awkward, but soon his coordination improved. His steps grew quicker, his posture straighter, his stride stronger. Within months, his daughter said, "Dad, you're walking like your old self again." Here's how to do it. Stand tall near a wall or chair for support. Lift one knee to hip height, lower it, then lift the other, like marching in place. Keep a steady rhythm, arms swinging naturally. Start with 20 marches, then increase as your endurance improves. You can even do this while watching TV, waiting for the kettle to boil, or during commercial breaks. The key is consistency. Every march strengthens the link between your brain, your legs, and your balance system. Because here's the truth, rhythm is resilience. The more confidently you walk, the longer you'll stay independent. And now, we've reached number 1, the single most powerful exercise to reverse leg weakness and restore balance. It's not fancy, it's not complicated, but it could add years of mobility to your life. Number 1, step-ups, the ultimate lifesaver. Here's the truth. If you can step up onto a curb or a stair without pulling, wobbling, or holding on, you're years ahead of the average senior. But if you struggle, that's the body's biggest red flag that your independence is slipping away. Why? Because step-ups mimic almost everything in daily life. Climbing stairs, getting into a car, rising onto a bus, even walking uphill. They combine strength, balance, and coordination into one simple movement. And when you lose that ability, everything from grocery shopping to visiting family becomes harder, riskier, and eventually impossible. The science here is stunning. A 2017 study in the Journal of Gerontology followed seniors over 70 for 5 years. Those who could perform repeated step-ups were 50% less likely to suffer falls, and lived more active years compared to those who couldn't. In fact, step-up ability was one of the strongest predictors of whether someone could keep living independently. Let me share Frank's story. He's 81, a retired firefighter, and one of the proudest men I've ever met. But when he came to us, he admitted something quietly. He had stopped visiting his grandson. Why? Because his grandson's house had a porch with 3 steps. Frank told me, "I freeze when I see those stairs. I feel like they're laughing at me." We started him on gentle step-ups, just a single low step, holding on for support. At first, even that was shaky. But day by day, his legs grew stronger, his balance steadier, his confidence higher. 3 months later, he sent me a photo, standing tall on his grandson's porch, arms around his family, smiling wider than I'd ever seen. Here's how you do it. Stand in front of a low, sturdy step. Even a bottom stair works. Hold a railing or counter for safety if needed. Step up with one foot. Bring the other to meet it. Step back down slowly. Start with 5 reps on each leg, then build up. Do this consistently, and you're not just training your legs. You're training for life itself. Every step up is a rehearsal for freedom. The freedom to keep climbing, keep moving, and keep living on your own terms. Because here's the truth. No pill, no scan, no procedure will ever protect you the way your own legs can. And when you strengthen them, you're not just building muscle, you're protecting your future. So let's recap all 8 moves that can reverse leg weakness and restore balance, starting today. So there you have it, the 8 exercises that can reverse leg weakness and restore balance. Heel raises, your ankle breaks, seated leg extensions, the knee protectors, sit to stands, the chair test of independence, tandem walk, the balance reset, side leg raises, the hip shields, mini squats, the power builder, standing marches, the rhythm restorer, step-ups, the ultimate lifesaver. 8 moves, no machines, no expensive treatments, just your own body, reclaiming its strength one day at a time. Because here's the truth, modern medicine can measure, scan, and prescribe, but it can't do the work for you. Your legs are your foundation. When they're strong, you stay independent. When they're weak, even the smallest task becomes risky. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to walk with confidence again? To climb stairs without fear? To play with your grandkids without worrying about falling? That's what these exercises can give you. And remember, the best prevention isn't in a hospital. It's in your home, your kitchen, your living room, your daily routine. Stay active, eat well, rest deeply, and train your legs. Because the stronger they are, the longer you'll keep your freedom. Now we'd love to hear from you. Have you or someone you love ever struggled with leg weakness or balance? What exercises have helped you the most? Share your story in the comments below. We read everyone, and we reply with personalized tips and encouragement. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to like it and subscribe. We've got more senior health tips coming every week. Practical, science-backed, and easy to follow. Your legs are your lifeline. Protect them, train them, and they'll carry you further than any prescription ever could. Thanks for watching.